Munich, 1972. Millions of viewers around the world tune in to watch the start of the 17th Olympic Games. Thousands of people arrive in the city from all over the world to celebrate another festival of international goodwill. Among them are 28 Israeli athletes, full of optimism and hope. But the Olympics of 1972 will be remembered for something quite different. September the 5th, 4:40 a.m. Heavily armed terrorists raid the Israeli compound in the Olympic Village. Eleven Israeli athletes are killed. Prime Minister Golda Meir informs Parliament of the tragedy. Her response is to form a top-secret committee that will lead a campaign of retribution against those responsible for the Munich Olympic massacre. As the nation mourns, Golda Meir assembles the heads of Israel's intelligence to form a top-secret team whose mission will be to terrorize the terrorists. It is to be known as Committee X, and its leader is General Aharon Yariv. Yariv believes in quiet action, executed without the help of the international community. In Tel Aviv, Golda Meir chooses a veteran Mossad agent to command the assassination team. He will operate independently with no official link to Israel. His name is Mike Harari, an intelligence agent for 20 years with a reputation for extreme ferocity. Mike Harari chooses Paris as his headquarters, settling there under the alias of French businessman Edouard Lasky. He handpicks his team of assassins. Much like the terrorist cells in Europe, Harari assigns separate tasks to small groups. They will act independently. October 1972, one of Harari's teams arrives in Rome. Its first target is Abdel Wahel Zuwaita, a Palestinian poet working as a translator at the Libyan embassy. He lives quietly on Piazza Annibaliano. Mossad suspects that as the Black September representative in Rome, Zuwaita was involved in the logistical organization of the Munich operation. October the 16th, 1972, 10:30 in the evening. Zuwaita returns home from work. Behind the door, a figure waits in the shadows. 11 bullets are fired into his body, one for each of the slain athletes. He dies instantly. Golda Meir receives the message. Number one is down. The Italian police find the shells to be from a Beretta pistol, the weapon of choice of Mossad agents, the gun which will become their calling card. December 1972, Paris. Dr. Mahmoud Hamshari, the PLO spokesman in France, lives at number 175 Rue d'Alésia. This is a clip from his last television interview.
Une dernière question. Est-ce que vous pouvez vivre tranquille en France? Est-ce que vous ne craignez pas pour votre vie?
Pour nous, pour moi, non. Mais je pense qu'il ne faut pas tenter le diable.
Hamshari is next on the list. Because of his job, Hamshari is used to meeting journalists from around the world. In December, a man posing as a journalist requests an interview. What Hamshari fails to realize is that this journalist is an agent of Mossad. During the interview, the agent surveys his apartment. He meets Hamshari's French wife and his daughter, collecting as much information as he can. The next day, the undercover agent watches the house from a cafe across the street. He waits for Hamshari's wife and daughter to leave before making a phone call. When Hamshari answers, a radio signal activates a bomb planted in the receiver. Hamshari is severely wounded. A month later, he dies. 3 weeks later, Harari sends another team to Nicosia, Cyprus. Hussein Abd al-Hir, the PLO's major contact with the Soviets, is next on the list. Golda needs to make it clear that her revenge will reach the perpetrators, wherever they may try to hide. At 10 o'clock in the evening, he returns to his hotel room after a meeting at the Russian embassy. As he lies down on his bed, a pressure bomb planted underneath it kills him instantly. Al-Hir is buried in Cyprus. In the months that follow, Harari's team identifies almost every major Black September operative working undercover in Europe. April 1973 marks the peak of Mossad's activity against Black September. Paris, Friday, April 6, 1973. Law professor Basel Al-Kubaisi is seen leaving the Café de la Paix near the Opera. Al-Kubaisi makes his way home. As he reaches Rue de l'Arcade, he is confronted by 2 men who fire 11 bullets into his body. Al-Kubaisi was number 5. The French police can only guess from the Beretta shells found at the scene that this was the work of Mossad. But on Golda's instructions, Israel denies any involvement in any of the killings. The world knew it was Mossad. So did Black September. The continuing killings put each and every member on their guard. Retribution on European soil is not enough. Prime Minister Golda Meir orders Committee X to pursue everyone on the list, including those who are hiding in enemy countries. On April the 10th, they all meet in Golda's office to lay the plan before her. With her approval, the operation will proceed. On the evening of April the 11th, 1973, Operation Springtime of Youth begins. Supported by the Navy, a special commando unit makes its way towards the shores of Lebanon. Mossad agents are waiting for them on the beach to drive the commandos to their target. They are to raid an apartment block in the heart of Beirut. 3 high-ranking Black September officers are living there. The commandos raid the building, killing the 3 members of Black September. Several innocent people are also killed in the crossfire. The operation is swift. Having created havoc in the city, the commandos move quickly back to their boats. The raid is a massive blow to Black September. It causes the death of Mohammed Yusuf Najjar, number 3 in the PLO, Black September's leader, Kemal Adwan, and Kamal Nasser, the spokesman for the PLO. Yasser Arafat demands that the world condemn the action. In Athens the next morning, Musa Abu Ziyad hears the news of the attack in his rented room. He is another one on the list of Munich conspirators. Abu Ziyad rushes out to buy a newspaper. While he is out, Mossad agents enter his room and plant a plastic explosive charge under the bed. Minutes later, Abu Ziyad is killed. The hit list grows ever shorter. With the elimination of the Beirut headquarters, Ali Hassan Salameh, the Red Prince, moves up in the rankings of the PLO. For Harari, catching Salameh becomes a top priority. While some in Israel call for the killings to stop, Harari is determined finally to cross the name of the Red Prince from the list. Norway, July 1973. Mossad agents receive a tip that Salome has gone to ground in the city of Lillehammer. Harari travels to Norway to command the operation himself. He has two teams, one of logistical planners and the hit team. The agents quickly locate their target, leaving a local theatre, accompanied by a blonde woman. The man's features resemble those of Salome, and his attraction to blondes fits the profile compiled by Mossad. The assassins follow the couple as they travel home. They ambush their victim, shooting him at close range, only to discover that they have killed the wrong man. Ahmed Boucheki, a Moroccan waiter whose only crime is to resemble Salome, is shot dead in broad daylight in front of his pregnant Norwegian wife. Harari and the assassin just manage to escape. The Norwegian police arrest 6 Mossad operatives connected with the shooting. They are sentenced to long terms of imprisonment. The failure exposes Mossad's actions in Europe. Golda Meir immediately recalls Harari to Israel. The operational disaster in Norway sends shockwaves through the international community, placing Israel in an extremely tight spot. Golda calls her Mossad agents home, not just from Europe, but from other countries as well. The pace of assassinations is slowed down. Mossad cannot survive another fiasco. Golda Meir remains Prime Minister until 1974, when she is succeeded by Yitzhak Rabin. On December the 8th, 1978, Golda Meir dies. Thousands come to pay their last respects to their Jewish mother. But despite her departure, her legacy of revenge lives on. Her successors will not rest until Golda's list is completed. In 1979, Mossad reorganizes and refocuses on the Red Prince, directing more resources towards his elimination. Ali Hassan Salome has evaded the Israeli secret agents in Europe for years. He leads a luxurious life, with the salary of a high-ranking PLO activist, and a new wife, the 1971 Miss Universe from Lebanon. Israeli intelligence, aware of his weakness for women, sets a honey trap. Erica Chambers, an agent sent by Mossad, meets Salome as if by chance. She is an attractive woman, and he is immediately smitten. They have a passionate affair, during which Chambers closely observes Salome and reports on his daily routine. The agents rent a Volkswagen and load it with explosives. They park the car near Erica's apartment.
Ali Hassan Salama, Abu Hassan, was martyred in the course of the revolution and liberation. At 4 p.m. Monday, January 22nd, together with 4 of his escorts, due to a remote detonated explosive charge.
The Red Prince, one of the key planners of the Munich massacre, is dead.
The Central Committee of Fatah and the PLO were notifying the martyrdom of the militant leader Abu Hassan, in charge of the Special Operation Branch, which used to hit and chase the Zionist enemy wherever they were, affirms that the murderers will not escape the punishment of the revolution.
In May 1988, 16 years after Munich, as Israel celebrates its 40th anniversary, Another of the conspirators, Abu Jihad, is murdered in Tunisia. Mossad is believed to be responsible. No one knows how many names were on the list compiled by Committee X, but the assassinations continued into the 90s.